Life wasn't always easy. From a young age, I felt a sense of unease, a shadow lurking within. I turned to whatever numbed the pain, seeking solace in fleeting moments. It started subtly, a way to cope, to blend in, to feel something, anything. But slowly it took hold, twisting my thoughts and actions. I was lost in a maze of my own making, the walls closing in with each passing day. The world seemed distant, a blur of colors and sounds that I couldn't quite grasp. My relationships suffered, my dreams fading into the background. I was adrift, clinging to anything that promised a moment's relief. But the darkness always found me, whispering doubts and fueling my fears. I was trapped in a cycle of self-destruction, unable to see a way out. I wore a mask of normalcy, hiding the turmoil within. I told myself I was in control, but deep down I knew the truth. The addiction had its grip on me, pulling me further into its depths. I was exhausted, my spirit broken by the constant struggle. I yearned for a way out, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. But hope seemed like a distant star, flickering faintly in a vast and empty sky. The descent into addiction is a treacherous one, marked by denial and despair. I told myself I could stop anytime, that it wasn't that bad. But the lies I told myself became harder to believe. I was in too deep, the addiction controlling my every thought and action. The withdrawal symptoms were unbearable, both physical and emotional. I was trapped in a prison of my own making, the bars made of shame and guilt. I pushed away anyone who tried to help, convinced I didn't deserve it. I was angry at the world, at myself, for letting things get so bad. The once bright colors of life faded to gray, the joy replaced by a dull ache. I was a ghost of my former self, my spirit crushed by the weight of my addiction. Every day was a battle, a constant struggle to survive. I was exhausted, my body and mind screaming for relief. But the addiction was relentless, a cruel master that demanded my unwavering loyalty. I was lost and alone, adrift in a sea of despair. Even in the darkest of times, a flicker of hope can ignite a spark of change. For me, it came from an unexpected source, a friend who refused to give up on me. They saw through my facade, recognizing the pain beneath the surface. Their unwavering belief in me, even when I didn't believe in myself, was a lifeline in a stormy sea. Their words, filled with compassion and understanding, pierced through the fog of addiction. They shared their own struggles, their journey to recovery, offering a glimmer of hope that I too could find my way back. They encouraged me to seek help, to believe that a better life was possible. Their support was a beacon of light, guiding me towards a path of healing. At first I resisted, clinging to the familiarity of my addiction, but their persistence, their unwavering love, chipped away at the walls I had built around myself. I began to see that I wasn't alone, that there were people who cared, who wanted to help me heal. The seed of hope, planted by their kindness, began to take root in the barren landscape of my heart. Taking that first step towards recovery was the hardest thing I've ever done. Admitting I needed help, that I couldn't do it alone, was both terrifying and liberating. I reached out to a therapist, a stranger who would soon become instrumental in my journey to wholeness. The shame and guilt I had carried for so long poured out, tears streaming down my face as I shared my story. The therapist listened with empathy and understanding, creating a safe space for me to confront my demons. They helped me understand the root of my addiction, the underlying pain I had been trying to numb. Through therapy, I began to unravel the layers of self-deception, to see myself with clarity and compassion. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks, moments when I wanted to give up, to retreat back into the darkness. But the support of my therapist, the unwavering belief of my friend, gave me the strength to keep going. I was determined to break free from the chains of addiction, to reclaim my life. Recovery is not a linear path. It's a journey filled with twists and turns, ups and downs. There were days when I felt strong and capable, and others when the darkness threatened to engulf me. But I learned to embrace the struggle, to see it as a necessary part of my healing. I discovered the importance of self-care, of nourishing my body and mind. Exercise, once a chore, became a source of strength and energy. I rediscovered the joy of simple pleasures, like spending time in nature or listening to music. I surrounded myself with supportive people, those who believed in my recovery and encouraged my growth. I learned to forgive myself, to let go of the shame and guilt that had weighed me down for so long. It was a slow and painful process, but with each act of self-compassion, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. I was no longer defined by my addiction. but by my resilience, my determination to create a better life. As I progressed on my journey of recovery, I discovered a wellspring of strength I never knew I possessed. I learned to sit with my discomfort, to face my fears head-on. The cravings still came, but I developed coping mechanisms to navigate them. I practiced mindfulness, learning to be present in the moment, to observe my thoughts and feelings without judgment. I discovered the power of gratitude, focusing on the positive aspects of my life, no matter how small. Each day brought new challenges, but I faced them with newfound courage and determination. The more I believed in myself, the stronger I became. I was no longer a victim of my circumstances, but a survivor, a warrior fighting for my right to happiness. I realized that my addiction didn't define me. It was a chapter in my story, but not the whole book. I had the power to write my own ending, to create a future filled with hope and possibility. The journey wasn't easy, but the rewards were immeasurable. I was reclaiming my life piece by piece, and it felt amazing. There was a pivotal moment in my recovery, a turning point that solidified my commitment to a life free from addiction. It happened during a particularly challenging day, when the cravings were intense and the darkness threatened to pull me under. I found myself on the verge of relapse, my hand hovering over the phone, ready to call my dealer. But then, a memory flashed through my mind. The look of pride in my friends' eyes when I told them I was sober. That image, the thought of their unwavering support, gave me the strength to put the phone down. In that moment, I made a choice, a conscious decision to choose life, to choose recovery. It was a turning point, a moment of clarity that shifted my perspective. I realized that my addiction wasn't just hurting me, it was hurting everyone who cared about me. From that day forward, I vowed to honor their love and support by staying true to my commitment to sobriety. The road to recovery is not just about healing ourselves, but also about repairing the relationships we have damaged along the way. I had to earn back the trust of my loved ones, to prove to them that I was committed to change. It was a long and arduous process, requiring patience, humility, and honesty. I apologized for my past actions, acknowledging the pain I had caused. I made amends where I could, seeking to right the wrongs I had committed. Slowly but surely, the walls began to crumble. My loved ones saw my sincerity, my genuine desire to change. They met my efforts with compassion and understanding, offering forgiveness and a second chance. It was a beautiful thing to witness, the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. Rebuilding those relationships, brick by brick, was one of the most rewarding aspects of my recovery. As I continued on my path of sobriety, unexpected opportunities began to present themselves. Doors that were once closed to me swung open, revealing a world of possibilities I had never dared to dream of. I had a renewed sense of purpose, a passion for life that had been dormant for far too long. I went back to school, eager to pursue my passions and contribute to the world in a meaningful way. I discovered hidden talents and interests, finding joy in activities I had never considered before. My career blossomed as my newfound clarity and focus allowed me to excel in ways I hadn't thought possible. But the greatest gift of recovery was the opportunity to help others who were struggling with addiction. Sharing my story, offering hope and support to those who were still trapped in the darkness, became my calling, my way of giving back for the gift of my own sobriety. Looking back on my journey from addiction to recovery, I am filled with a sense of gratitude and awe. The road was long and arduous, but the rewards have been immeasurable. I am not the same person I was when I was lost in the throes of addiction. I am stronger, more resilient, and more compassionate than I ever thought possible. I have learned the true meaning of forgiveness, both for myself and for others. My life is a testament to the transformative power of hope, the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, a new dawn is possible. If you are struggling with addiction, please know that you are not alone. There is hope, there is help, and there is a life of freedom and joy waiting for you on the other side of recovery. Reach out, ask for help, and believe in the possibility of a brighter tomorrow.